Light Island is the wild card of the Magicals, with opinions generally shifting a ton with every addition that was added. Every time a monster was added to this island, its impact was huge, which makes talking about it a beast to get through. Also, side note, but Light Island is actually my favorite island from the first game, but I'm not gonna start gushing about it just yet. We do still have criticism for the song as we have to stay unbiased. Well, let's conquer this beast. Okay, so we have only one truly bad track on this island. We do have some mixed bags, so I'll cover those really quickly. The main critique Light Island gets is that it's overly repetitive and it's all the fault of these four. There is absolutely no reason why they needed to play the entire song. All that was needed was for them to be in the first half, and that's it. As it is right now, they are essential for the first half of the song, but unnecessary background noise in the second. The one thing I will say is that at least they do pair with everything in the second half pretty well, and even add some rhythmic interest to it. So the upsides are worth the downsides, at least for me, but the downsides are still apparent. Gob is the definition of a mixed bag, with it being crucial to the song as it is a foundational track and it complements Furcorn and Floris really well in the first half. However, it does have flaws as it clashes with a lot of the stuff in the second half. It also plays a lot of dissonant notes, which sounds cool on paper, but it really wasn't a good idea to have the foundation hold set notes. I do understand that this island does use dissonance a lot, which is actually really interesting. It's just this probably wasn't the right monster for the job. Alright, so those monsters have their flaws and could have been handled better for sure, I'll admit it, but I think all of them work in the song enough to not warrant their removal. I can't however say the same for Pluckbill. Let's start with the obvious. This song font is ghastly, with it holding none of the traits that the song requires for it to work. It's shrill, painful to listen to, and sticks out like a sore thumb. Or it would if the role that it plays wasn't already covered by like 4 other monsters that do it much better. That wouldn't be so bad if the rhythm itself also didn't negatively clash with pretty much every single monster playing with it. It's boring, obnoxious, and pointless, and a complete waste of this concept. So the ugly is kind of weird in this case. Some may argue the quartet is really repetitive, others may argue the song is too simple and basic, and some may argue the overabundance of sounds in the second half. Well, it's really none of those things here. What we found to be the harshest flaw is partly the structure, but more so the utilization of certain tracks. In this case, placements. If Kana and crew didn't play the whole song, the song would be better. If Flower got a verse separate from Tutu to shine, the song would be better. If Bloke got a verse separate from Gob so it can shine, the song would be better. If the outro of the song wasn't just a quartet and a lot of empty space, the song would be better. It's a lot of little things, but they all just stack up. I'm not saying completely rework the structure, but a few added verses to spread things out a bit more would have done this song wonders. As it is now, the biggest problem with Light is that a lot of things just sort of mush into one another and fade out into the background. It's not straight up clutter as things do still work together, but it's worth mentioning. So Light has a lot of shortcomings, but it's about time we talk about its strengths. Yalma is a really good way to cap off the song in the climax. It complements Sousa and Dromedary really well, and its placement is just perfect for what it is. Oh, and its performance is really good. Gob has its downsides, but it being foundational is essential for the song's tone and themes, and the sound itself is really pretty and pleasant to listen to. Furcorn and Floris have a flawless duet. They bounce off each other tremendously well and have little complexities that just elevate both of them. It's an all-in-all inspired duet and works perfectly. Furcorn having its melody starting out tender and soft before reaching those long climatic notes works so well at leading into the following verse, and Floris accompanying that and adding serene bliss just works so many wonders. Oh, and let's be honest, Floris does the whole lighting up shtick the best out of any of the light monsters. Sousa and Dromedary have that duet nailed down perfectly, they work so good together. Sousa on its own already does a lot of work adding rhythmic interest and power to the climax. Dromedary on its own also does the same thing, but when put together, these two make an inseparable duo, making the core identity of what the end of the song wants to be, and not overshadowing any of the major components that play alongside them. Along with that, Bulbo and Sprite Trap make a fantastic percussion trio, with them coming in slowly, really having the song take its time in building up, so the climax can work really well, and these three are at the core of making that work. Tiawa has a really pleasant flourish track, and the use of its trills is really well executed. It complements everything it plays with really well and just a really enjoyable track overall. Whiz Bang is pretty self-explanatory. The fireworks fit for the second half really well and is essential in allowing the song to transition properly. Overall, just a solid monster that does its job well. Phosphorin Flux is such a good flourish monster through all 4 of its tracks. The ambience it adds is really nice, the counterline is majestic, and the arpeggio is smooth and complements the others really nicely. Overall, a really good addition, adding a ton despite its minimalism. Fiddlement is a fan favorite monster for a reason. The only downside is that it can be slightly rhythmically awkward at times. Putting that smidge aside, its melody is outstanding, its sound font is sheer perfection, and it duets with everything perfectly. It really does feel like the instrument is singing its heart out rather than playing, which just feels so right. Alright, so the best monster on the island is a special case for me because it's actually my single favorite track in MSM1, not counting Dawn of Fire. And that monster is Tutu! Bet you didn't see that coming. Despite it being the same thing as Flower, somewhat, it holds its own by being much more fit of being the main melody, as its sound font just works way better for the island's tone compared to Flower. Anyways, its sound font is astounding. Its placements are perfect and all of its duets are flawless, with it being the leading melody of the song, but it also provides the song for its tone and atmosphere, while also filling in the air and providing a basis for all the song's harmonies and duets. Wait, am I talking about a lead or a foundation here? Well, it turns out it's both. Tutu does so much for the song, and it's mind-blowing how much work it does, despite it also doing very little in the grand scheme of things. Not only that, but it also plays a crucial role in the song's structure, as it coming in after Furcorn to provide for the build-up is something only it can do, as Sousa starts too late and the other monsters don't quite fill in the air enough. Besides that, it complements every single monster to a T and leads the song forward on its own 2 feet. Overall, Tutu is just flawless, one of the very best tracks the Magicals have to offer, and I consider it the single most underrated monster in the entire game. Crazy how much this island has evolved over time. So much so that it's had one of the biggest glow-ups in the entire series. As it currently stands now, Light Island is really, I am not joking, one of the better islands in the game despite its flaws that it has. And I am so happy it's finally getting the recognition it deserves. Well, that's that. Do you agree or disagree? Do we see the light or wind up in the dark? Let me know in the comments below. Well, that's it for me, and I'll see you in the next video.